There's been some friction between parts of the LGBTQIP2SAA++ crowd in
Oh, he did it! Yes! Yes, he did it! He said the thing, guys! That was awesome. I love that. That's my favorite joke. That's my favorite joke, guys. And he said it. That's awesome. Good job, dude. So this is a content suggestion that somebody dropped in the Discord server. If you would like to join the Discord server and leave a suggestion of your own, you can do so by following the link in the description. It's in the description of every video. Just click it and you're in. Very simple, as long as you agree to the rules and follow them. And then you can post in the content suggestions channel and leave a video for me to react to. In this case, in this instance, we have a video called The Rise and Fall of Pride Month by Leo Kearse, who I've never heard of. The description is as follows. Pride Month seems to be faltering. Why is this? There are a bunch of reasons. It's getting taken over by gender ideology and kink. It's flooded with cynical corporate money as businesses try to pride wash themselves, and it's even starting to reject the gays and lesbians who should be core to it. That's really stupid. That's really stupid. That's not happening. I've never seen that happen, actually. This guy, I've never heard of him. Apparently, he's one of those gays against groomer types where they're like, oh, no, I promise, I'm not a freak, guys. I'm not weird. I'm not a pervert. I'm the good one. I'm one of the good ones. I'm a good gay. I'm a good gay. Please love me. Please love me. Please love me. Please. Here's the trans people. Just take them. Just take them and leave me alone. Please, 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 please. And then, of course, they go to the gulag. Anyway, that's kind of what we're dealing with here. So let's take a look at what this guy has to say.
Pride Month is over. You might have noticed it. Corporations have rainbow flags on every social media.
He's got a funny voice. God damn it.
Account and waving from every rooftop.
I'm a sucker for funny voices.
They did in the West, in the Middle East.
I'm convinced. I'm transphobic now. Sorry, guys. The voice, the accent did it for me.
Company logos remain decidedly heterosexual, and rooftops are used in a slightly less supportive way for the gay community. It's almost as if companies aren't really interested in supporting gay people at all. They just want to go along with the prevailing trend to sell more stuff.
Whoa! What? Oh my God! Wow! That's groundbreaking. That's incredible. I never thought. Why do they think that this is a revelation? Do they understand the world we live in? Like, really, honestly, truly? Yeah. Which, by the way, think about this for 2 seconds. They'll say that in one breath, and then in the next they'll say, go woke, go broke. It's like you can't simultaneously hold those two things, okay? You either think that the gays and the transes are being pandered to make more money, or you think that pandering to the gays and the transes loses you money. Pick one.
Although it does feel like public attitudes in the West are shifting. Pride used to be an unfettered celebration. Now, as Pride shifts its focus...
Pride was a riot. That's how it started, by the way.
From gay rights to other stuff, people are asking questions. Even Just Stop Oil protested against Pride this year, which shows how out of touch Just Stop Oil are. Lube hasn't been oil-based in decades. Police actually did their job for once and removed the Just Stop Oil protest from the Pride March in only 16 minutes, showing that they actually can enforce the law when ideology allows it. Which is a bit annoying, because if there's one thing that can actually get delayed without inconveniencing anyone, it's a Pride parade. Also, the fact that police will only tackle Just Stop Oil if they're disrupting a Pride parade means that if you're working class and you need to get to work on time, you're going to have to dress your transit van up like a Pride float and wear spark.
What? No, just go around. Like, the Pride parade is planned like a month or two in advance, or like even more. It's like an all-year thing. If you're not prepared, then that's kind of on you. Like, what? No, go around. Like, there's plenty of road. The Pride that I went to is in a city area, and city areas have lots of intersecting streets. I promise you'll be fine. Go around.
Sparkly sequined hot pants if you want the police to move any eco-protesters blocking the road. But why is Pride faltering? There are a bunch of reasons. It's getting taken over by gender ideologists and kink. It's flooded with cynical corporate money as businesses try to pride wash themselves. And it's even starting to reject the gays and lesbians who should be core to it. I'll look at these reasons in a moment, but first, a bit of context. Pride started in the UK in 1972, and nobody except an Ayatollah could deny that it was necessary. Back in the day, gay people faced horrific discrimination. They were sneered
And
at,
trans
refused
people.
jobs, represented negatively in the media. They were very much the straight white males of the olden times. It wasn't like now, when straight people actually call themselves non-binary or genderqueer to try and muscle in on the
here
gay
it
space
is.
and get
You're just calling yourself non-binary or genderqueer for attention. Yeah, look at all the positive attention that comes of calling yourself non-binary. Katie barely tells anybody in like her everyday life because it's just not something that she can tell people without getting shit on. Thank you so much for the raid, Da Haramba. I appreciate you very much. The best emote on. Katie literally just does not tell people hardly ever that she's non-binary. From what I understand.
And everyone falls over themselves to have the most up-to-date progress flag, which is tricky as it changes every 35 milliseconds. Here's the latest one, updated to include...
Wait, that's not real. Is that real? That is pretty fucking ugly. Not gonna lie.
neurodivergent people, which is appropriate because it gave me a seizure after staring at it for 10 seconds. In the 70s, the right for gay people to exist, to gather in public and to be seen was necessary. Marching was...
Even if the infinity sign was not there though, I gotta say, the pride flag is getting very busy and we need to do something about that.
genuinely brave. Bottles were thrown at the Pride Parade and they even got abuse from police on the march,
Yeah.
who in those days weren't wearing rainbow helmets. And importantly, back in the day, Pride was about adult gay people. It was a child-free zone. I'll come back to this. And the fight for equality worked. Rights started expanding. Gays and lesbians got the right to serve in the military and get married. Employment discrimination was made illegal. Equal rights were enshrined in law. And social...
Dude, if pride was a riot, how do you make like a non-family friendly riot? Like a riot is not family friendly by default. If you're throwing fucking bottles, there better not be kids there. And if there are kids there, get them away. Like, yeah, it was violent because the police were there. Of course you don't want to take your kids to that. But kids should be allowed at pride events as long as they're not like blatantly naked or doing sexual things, which from my experience, they're not. Sometimes they're scantily dressed a little bit, like they're you know, not wearing very much to cover themselves, but it's just like a beach in my opinion. So fuck it. Like they're not getting hurt by it, you know? And also the benefits of making queer children understand that there is a place for them and that they are accepted and loved is far more important to me than like, oh my God, like they saw a guy in a bikini. How will they recover? It's like there's no contest. Thank you so much for another gift sub, Hot Take.
It became much more acceptable. Equality was to a certain extent achieved. But like the mythical guy who killed the dragon but still had the big sword so went around looking for more things to kill with it, Pride metastasized into fighting for other causes. And it got bigger.
Wait, that's
Bill
good.
Clinton declared June to be National Gay and Lesbian Pride Month
Good.
back in 1999.
That's
Even
good.
sharks only get a week. And this year, Joe Biden proclaimed June to be...
Why are you complaining? Okay, yeah, you won. You even if like having a whole month to yourself is like this gigantic win that everybody's trying to say that it is, you know, even if that's the case, it's like, cool, you win. You know, like take the W, man. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer and intersex Pride Month. LG has become LGBTQ+. That TQ+
Good.
includes all kinds of fetishists and straight people who have nothing at all to do with homosexuality and haven't been discriminated against. The A
Famously, trans people have never received discrimination.
LGBTQIA stands for asexuals. Who's discriminating against asexuals? There's never
Okay, so that's a complicated one, and I'll go over it real briefly. Lawfully, there's really not that much discrimination against asexual people that I know of. I could be wrong on that. Feel free to correct me. But lawfully, I don't believe that's the case. What the problem is that we live in a heteronormative society, and that is a very liberal way of saying straight is the norm. So if you're not dating somebody or fucking somebody, you're considered weird, okay? That goes for asexual people, well, of the opposite sex, I should say. It goes for asexual people as well as gay and trans people as well, okay? So it's a very cis heteronormative society. Asexual people really don't want anything to do with that for the most part. Don't get on my case. I understand there's, you know, varying circumstances surrounding that. But typically asexual people, they don't want sex. They're not interested in sex. And yet Everyone in their life is trying to tell them, hey, when are you going to get a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Or when are you going to get married? Or when are you going to have kids? Or when are you going to have sex? Like sex, 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 sex. We live in a very sex-centered society. Like we just do. And asexual people, that makes them uncomfortable. And they're trying to speak out and say, hey, can we start changing some of these cultural norms to make it more comfortable for us? Because we don't want to talk about sex. We don't want to see sex. We're not attracted to anything or anybody. Just let us be. That's where it comes in. So it's a little bit more complicated. As far as I know, there's no laws against being asexual that have ever existed, but like, you know, it's about cultural norms.
Never been a law against not having sex. And what have they got to do with gays and lesbians? Having asexuals represented at Pride is like having a sport at the Olympics called not playing any sport whatsoever. As Douglas Murray said, there's no greater difference in sexuality than between an asexual and a gay man. And a lot of heterosexuals who just have a kink are represented now. Sexual fetishes like adult babies, human dolls, furries, and people who like dress.
So these people are more clothed than anybody else, perhaps even too much. These people actually as well are clothed more than anybody else.
Fetishes like adult babies, human dolls, furries, and people who like.
These people are clothed. I'll admit this one's a little odd. I probably would second guess bringing my child here. Like, my children also would see... You know what? Here, I want to show you guys something, okay? I made a tweet, and I can't log into Twitter right now, but let me just show you something. Ohio, hell is real. This is a sign that I've driven by multiple times. Maybe I'm doxing myself, but oh well. This is a sign that I drive by not that often, but relatively... You know, I've driven by it. It's a sign that exists in Ohio. There's a lot like it, but this is the one that stands out the most. Hell is real. Let's think about what this means. You're telling everybody who reads this sign that there is eternal suffering awaiting you after you die. That includes children. You are telling children who read this sign, hey bucko, better not touch yourself. Better not, pout or cry or shout. I'm telling you why, because God's real and he's sending you to hell. I don't like that. I think that's kind of weird. And if it's legal for my children to see this just out in public, out in the open, I don't think this is that big of a deal. I really don't. They're wearing dog masks, okay? I understand that mostly this is a sexual implication. I get it, okay? But if we're talking about the on the face of it damage that you're doing to children, I'd much rather them see this than this. And have them ask me, Dad, what's hell? Dad, hey, what is hell like? Oh, well, son, you see, there's this thing called Christianity and this guy called God who loves you. I promise you, I swear that he loves you, but also he's going to send you to eternal hellfire. But he loves you. Did you write that one down? He loves you, but also he'll send you to hell for all eternity. And you'll suffer in torture and writhing agony for all eternity. But he loves you, but he does love you, okay? Yeah, no, that's great. That's great.
Like dressing
so
up
fuck
as
off
dogs.
with this. I don't
There's
care.
nothing wrong with that, but the only discrimination they face is that they're not allowed on the couch. There is no historical prejudice against men dressing up as puppies. No passage in the Bible that says, "Thou shalt not buy a polyester Labrador outfit from Amazon." I think the apostles just thought it wasn't necessary. And now, Pride, led by gender ideology, feels a bit oppressive. It's in schools, it's drilled into us at every turn.
Oh, the H was aesthetic, it was not faded.
Flags line Regent Street as if we've been invaded by a country with a slight...
They keep saying as if we've been invaded. It's like, have you not seen the United States of America? You can just walk down a street, like, especially in July of all month. Look at this shit. Oh, is this not like we've been invaded? Oh, is this not scary? Is this not scaring you? Right? Like, okay, yeah, who cares? We're celebrating the fact that gay and trans people exist and are valid, okay? And, like, you're scared of a fucking rainbow. Do you understand that? You're telling me you're scared of a rainbow, dude. Shut up.
Underdressed military and rather ugly women. It all feels a bit forced.
Wow, that's cool,
You're
man.
taking the wrong fucking flag down, mate. At least you know that.
Don't tell me this is him. Dog, they're just doing their jobs. Ha, based.
And there are concerns
Based.
about gay erasure. And I'm not talking
Fuck
about
the
the
British.
band. There's been some friction between parts of the LGBTQIP2SAA++ crowd in recent years.
Oh, he did it! Yes! Yes, he did it! He said the thing, guys! That was awesome. I fucking love that. That's my favorite joke. That's my favorite joke, guys. And he said it. That's awesome. Good job, dude.
Carla J.
We did. We
who
can close the
helped
video.
organise
We
the
did
first
it.
Pride marches in New York and Los Angeles in 1970 says, LGBTQIA is so broad that it really is difficult to hold together as a front. The inclusion of QT.
Wait, no, it's inclusion. That's the point. That's why we just, like, that's why personally I want to just call it queer now. But that's the point, is it's inclusive. What do you mean it's too difficult to hold together as a front? No, the whole point is that these are a bunch of minorities coming together and saying, we're sick of this shit and we want equal treatment by society, not just lawfully, but culturally. That's the point. But we're the party of division, by the way.
Has led to some lesbian and gay people feeling sidelined from Pride. Some lesbians feel like they're being coerced into recognising trans women as other lesbians and have been accused of being vagina fetishists.
If you're a lesbian and you're being and you feel like you're being pressured to have sex with people you don't want to have sex with, I'm sorry, but that's kind of a skill issue.
For refusing to sleep with trans women, even though they're same-sex attracted, not same-pronoun attracted. Police were filmed at a Pride march in Cardiff, removing lesbians from the march.
We're marching in a march. At the moment. No, I just want to make sure. Yeah, you know now. Let me just explain to you, and it'll give you some understanding. Yeah. So at the moment, your march, this group of people, is causing confrontation between different groups of people. We're lesbians. We're lesbians. It's gay pride. Whatever you are at the moment is causing confrontation. I did not want to fuck off.
Yeah.
Say that you march yourself. We don't want to do that. We want to be part of your choice. So what I'm telling you is to make sure it's safe. We are going to remove you from the road, and I want you to do that of your own accord. I want to make sure I understand that you will be moving
get fucked. Get fucked.
Like LGBT march. Yes, that is what's happening. Okay, why? For safety. For your
I love it when the police actually do their jobs. Got a license. The one time I've ever wanted to hear an oi bruv say, you got a fucking license. You got a fucking license.
About the reasons why at the side of the road, because other women on the road.
So lesbians were kicked off a so-called pride procession, whilst the rest of the LGBTQIA2 plus spirit crowd,
he did it again!
many of whom will doubtless be heterosexual kinksters, were allowed to stay. There's also a...
Wait. Heterosexual people are welcome at Pride. You're buying into the narrative that, like, somehow they're not. They were always allowed at Pride. They just can't be a weirdo being like, well, what about straight pride? What about straight pride? What about all the things that I've gone through, right? Straight people were always allowed at Pride. Just because you're a lesbian doesn't mean you can't cause conflict at a Pride parade. Like, if you're being an asshole, you're being an asshole, regardless of whether you're a lesbian. You know, I say this all the time. Like, I don't care if you're lesbian, gay, trans, black, white, Asian. It doesn't matter. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And if you're causing a problem, you're causing a fucking problem. And you should get kicked out. You know? Sorry. You don't get a special pass just because you are a woman who likes to fuck other women.
To include children. Pride originally excluded children because it was about sex, which, unless you're a BBC DJ...
Pride was not about sex. It was not just about sex, I should say. Pride is about rights, okay? Civil rights.
Happens between consenting adults. Liberal parents now drag their kids, no pun intended, to pride parades and force them to make eye contact with a naked guy's butthole. I don't understand the rationale behind this. I think it comes down to tribalism. Trump says it's bad, so we must do it. But I think that Pride should stay adults only. Not because I don't think it's child-friendly entertainment to show your nutsack busting out of a lycra swimming costume. It's because Pride is a chance for adults to let their hair down and express their sexuality. If they've got toddlers eyeballing them, that's going to cramp their style. It's yet another example of straight people muscling in on a gay space. And Pride now includes gender ideology, which has nothing to do with sexual intercourse between adults, but...
I love that argument so much because it's like, that gives away the game that, like, you have no clue how Pride works. You have zero idea. Trans and gay people have historically been grouped together because it's always like, it's the idea of demasculization. What is it? Emasculation? Emasculation. They think that if you're gay or if you're trans or you dress like a woman or whatever, like there are people today who don't even know the difference between a gay man and a trans woman. They don't know. They legitimately don't know. They don't understand because they just don't encounter people like that. Of course they're going to be grouped together. They were grouped together in Nazi fucking Germany. They were just called homosexual, you know? There was hatred against trans women and gay men for the same reason. Because it was considered a emasculation. I thought gay men were women in men's bodies when I was young. I mean, that's what a lot of people think. There actually were efforts in some areas to like forcibly trans gay people, which is fucked. Like that was a thing that happened. So they're very closely related because they both have to do with gender. They do. They both have to do with gender. You know, one has to do with the gender you're attracted to. The other has to do with the gender you identify with. So they are related. And it's stupid to say they're not.
So what you identify as, so isn't bound by age limits. Let's hear these people in their own words.
Wait, they're saying we're here, we're queer, we're not going to stop it. Only the camera... I've seen this clip before. Only the cameraman is saying we're coming for your children. Like, that's just a lie. And this guy's an idiot for falling for it. Wait, it was just this person.
As Maya Angelou said, when people show you who they are, believe them. Another thing that's been noticeable this year is that some corporations have taken a hit from supporting Pride. Corporations didn't get on board with Pride back in the day when Pride actually needed their support. It was seen as too controversial, and corporations just wanted...
By the way, I just want to point something out real quick. This guy's got a nose hair that is bugging the shit out of me. My guy, it's not that expensive. Get a nose trimmer.
Get on board with Pride back in the day when Pride actually needed their support. It was seen as too controversial, and corporations just wanted money.
I should not be better groomed than a gay man.
Now that the battle has been won, they're all over Pride, virtue signalling by pretending to smash down doors that have already been opened.
Why are we showing this clip? What's wrong with
Pride
that?
events in London, but do you think they do the same thing in Uganda where it's actually needed? And corporations give huge amounts of money. 40 companies, including United Airlines, Tesco and Coca-Cola, paid up to £240,000 each to have their brands splashed throughout London Pride Parade. But it's the new elements of Pride that mean it's starting to backfire for them. Bud Light is a weak beer designed for frat boys to drink in the sun with a baseball cap on, watching sports and shouting, "Defense!" For some reason, a marketing exec at Bud Light thought that these people would identify with trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney.
They sent one beer can to one trans woman with her face on it for a marketing campaign, and that's it. Because they thought maybe we can expand our brand a little bit. Until they backed down, by the way. They were pussies, and they were like, oh, we're so sorry. Oh, we're so sorry. We're so sorry. We're so sorry. We're back. We're back here now. We're not touching it. We're so sorry, guys. We're so sorry we did that. And Target kind of did the same thing, and it's very upsetting. Because as much as I hate rainbow capitalism, you know what I hate even more? Non-rainbow capitalism. Trans and gay exclusionary capitalism. That's even worse. So maybe let's not do that.
It's about as popular as using Andrew Tate to advertise tampons. Bud Light's parent company lost $27 billion in value, and after more than 2 decades as America's number...
I also like this idea that frat guys are automatically like transphobic or some shit. That's not always true, and you're also giving the game away. You're like, well, frat guys don't care about pride, and it's like, you don't know that. You don't know that.
Here, Bud Light has slipped into second place. They can't even give it away.
In fact, frat parties are some of the gayest places on earth, by the way. Like, no cap.
The customer base of Bud Light is actually slowly transitioning due to increasing obesity, which raises estrogen levels in men. Maybe Bud Light were just ahead of the curve on this one. And Target, which is a sort of Marks and Spencer's type chain in the States, went big on Pride. Flags and rainbow clothes are standard, but the campaign came unstuck when they also stocked tuck-friendly transgender swimsuits that help you shove your junk where it can't be seen.
They love talking about children's genitals. If there's one thing that transphobes love more than anything else, it is talking your ears off about children's penises and vaginas. And breasts. They cannot get enough of talking about them, and it's really fucked.
Like a sumo wrestler and Pride clothes for children. Parents were furious that Target was literally targeting their kids, so Target moved the Pride display to the back, which then infuriated the rainbow people. Target managed to alienate everyone and lost $15 billion off their market capitalization. But it wasn't just American companies coming unstuck. DIY store Wix drew backlash for pushing gender ideology. The chief operating officer...
Which, by the way, Target backed down because of terrorism. There were people in their stores literally tearing the displays down and like stomping on shit and ruining merchandise. That's why they backed down. Which, if you want my opinion, they should have just rolled in some armed guards. Not even kidding. They should have just placed armed guards by the fucking displays. It probably would have been cheaper. It probably would have been a net gain if they had just put a guy with a gun next to the display and it's just like a big guy with a gun and said, hey, don't touch it. You know, if you fuck with this, I will fuck your shit. So don't.
Longdon seems to think he's running The Guardian instead of a shop that sells hammers and nails. He said that anyone who wasn't on board with gender ideology was a bigot who wasn't welcome in their stores.
Good.
And that 90% of the British public were just slightly ignorant. It shows how out of touch corporate elites are. Most Wix customers are too busy worrying about keeping their kids fed and a roof over their heads to do an open university.
Well, you don't say. Why are you making this video then? Maybe reach out to those people and ask what they want. I can tell you what they don't give a two shits about is this. The thing that you're talking about. They don't care. If somebody is trying to feed their fucking kids, they could give two shits less about this dude. Why are you talking about it?
And most Brits reject gender ideology anyway. Wix really missed an opportunity, by the way. They could have launched a range of saws and chisels for DIY gender reassignment surgery. So why do corporations fly the flag
so
for
funny,
Pride
dude.
when it's becoming such a divisive issue? It's to maintain ESG
Get
scores.
it? Because trans women literally chop their penises off, and that's how that works. Definitely.
ESG stands for environmental, social and governance. They're supposed to show that an organisation is behaving ethically. A lot of money is invested in ESG funds because a lot of investors want their money to do something good. If a company wants to access this funding, they need to get a good ESG score by showing that they're doing good across environmental issues, for example by recycling their waste and using renewable energy, across social issues, so ensuring plenty of diversity training and funding pride parades, and governance, by making sure there's plenty of diversity represented on management boards. It's not just a corporate virtue signal, it's to get easier and cheaper financing. Like everything that's trying to create a utopia though, ESG is awful and is destroying everything. For example,
I love how these assholes just come out of the woodwork to be like, oh, guys, I have a secret. I have a really big secret for you. By the way, just, guys, here. You know what? Here, come here. A little closer. Here. I have something they don't want you to know. Corporations just want your money. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. They don't really care about you. They just want your money. I know, guys. I know. Oh, but trust me on this. They're just pandering for your money. It's like, yeah, we got that. Yeah, we got that. It's we done been known that, buddy. Don't worry. You're not really scratching any new stickers there. You know what I mean? Not really unpacking any new packages. I have a most devious revelation for you. Billionaires like money. Wow. You don't say. Shh, don't tell anybody. Shh, that's it. It's just our secret. Wink, wink. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, okay? Don't tell anybody.
The reason that Netflix shows are so bad is that they focus on crowbarring in as much diversity as possible, instead of focusing on making something compelling.
Like
Good
which
content
show?
Doesn't improve the ESG score, artificially diverse content does. And that Titanic sub-company bragged about getting rid of middle-aged white...
Here we go. I cannot believe that became a talking point. It's like everything is woke now. Everything. If you stub your toe, it's woke. Like what?
The high stakes, they should perhaps have been hiring based on merit. ESG doesn't even reflect genuine ethics. You'd think that Tesla would have a high ESG.
By the way, I love this precedent now that anytime there's any kind of disaster, we can blame wokeness and black people and gay people and trans people. That's great. What a healthy precedent to set. Wow. Okay. There's a new world war that was started because Putin nuked us. Well, maybe those darn transes shouldn't have been asking for equal rights. It's like, oh, great. Yeah, that's perfect. That's just what we need.
Because it makes the electric cars, which are going to save us from a future of warmer weather and fast, convenient refueling, or whatever's seen as bad. But Tesla has a lower ESG score than Chevron, an oil company, and Philip Morris, a tobacco company, because they have things like diversity schemes and trans inclusivity training. I'm going to do a video soon on the poison that is ESG, so subscribe if you want to see that. So these companies aren't supporting Pride because they believe in it. Companies don't believe in anything except making money. They're doing it so that they can get access to investment. You're right to be cynical about corporate sponsorship of Pride. And remember that the original core values of Pride were supposed to be diversity, inclusion and equality. There's no diversity of opinion allowed, to the point that lesbians are removed from the Pride Parade. It's not about equality, as gender ideologists are prioritised over everyone else. And when they say, we're coming for your children, they're being inclusive in the wrong way. If you've enjoyed this video, please share it and subscribe. And if you want to support me making these...
That was awful. I actually hated that. The accent did not save it. I do like Scottish accents, but that did not save it. Just the most brain-dead bullshit, man. I hate these people. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see more. Hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. You can join my channel membership at youtube.com/AlecGunther/TTV/join for only 99 cents a month. That's less than the price of a blowjob from your mom. You can be part of the channel membership program and you will get early access content, as well as a sweet badge next to your name and exclusive emojis in the comments that nobody else gets. Thank you again, and I will see you all in the next video.